The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
Hello, everybody. This is your captain speaking. Rafael Chacina, known as El Capitán Rafucho, and welcome everybody to a special episode of Silver and Black Experience. Because right now, it is Thursday. We're not talking about Thursday, because on Thursday, August 3, the number 3, you know what that means. Because right now, it is football season. And right now, it is playing the New York Jets versus Cleveland Browns on the Football Hall of Fame game. But right now, we're going to center to focus all about the training camp and, of course, the preseason against 49ers. And, of course, I'm not alone because right now I have two special guests to reveal all these things about the training camp with Las Vegas Raiders in 2023. So right now, ladies and gentlemen, I have the privilege to have two amazing guests. First of all, we got MC Raider, who's got a lot of information about what's happening on the training camp. And of course, the other one is one of my great friends from That Star Report every night, Dustin. How's everybody going? So welcome, everybody.
How you doing, man? Appreciate you, man.
All right, so right now, MC Raider, you got a lot of things to tell it about for the training camp 2022. And can you give us like a great experience about the training camp, what about the players? So tell it about it.
Yeah, man, it was how's my audio? Do you hear me good?
Yes, there we go.
Well,
Yes.
yeah. It was a great experience, man. I really liked the team, how everybody was connected with Josh McDaniels. That was one of the main things I wanted to see if there was anybody like whining or like not want to be there or like complaining and stuff like that. That was the number one thing, and it looks like everyone's in tune to everything, and that was pretty good to see, man. But I got to see a lot, man. Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connell, our defense. So let me know what you want to hear, man. I'll just tell you, break it down what I saw in my opinion.
Oh yes, because right now we just see like Jimmy Garoppolo, Aiden O'Connor, and of course we just see like a lot of action with the linebacker and of course the wide receiver. So first of all, Jimmy Garoppolo, he says he was ready to get like a great opportunity to go after the training camp. So after he was rehabilitated like the foot surgery, so Jimmy Garoppolo is say I'm gonna be ready. So he passed the test, and right now he's getting like very comfortable because he understands better for the Josh McDaniel system. So Jimmy Garoppolo could be like a great opportunity to see how we get in the ball for the Raiders. So right now, give me the thoughts that are about Jimmy Garoppolo's training about how he's involved in it about as a quarterback for the first time as a Raiders quarterback because after Derek Carr's departure for the New Orleans Saints, so right now we see like the more of the action between the Jimmy Garoppolo and the training camp.
Yeah. So look, I that was one of the main things. My top keys. I wanted to see how Jimmy Garoppolo had control of the offense. If the players were buying into him, I wanted to see if he was the man in control. I didn't really care about if he was like with the timing or if he was accurate with the his passing, just because he hasn't played in a long time. Obviously he's going to be rusty, but the main thing I wanted to see was, were the players buying into him? Was he in the man of the offense? Was he taking over? And all of those pointers were awesome. I looked at him in control. I looked at him moving good. I didn't see him complaining about his feet or whatever. I saw him, going to players and telling them, look, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. There was times where they were running their offense like a 2 minute offense, and he took the offense down all the way and scored multiple times. Um, so that looked very, very promising. Jimmy Garoppolo looked really good. I know there's a lot of rumors out there saying that, oh, he left early from camp and he was like limping and stuff like that. But look, I do believe when Josh McDaniel says that there's some limit restrictions, obviously after coming from a surgery and all that stuff, that's what the NFL wants, and that's what happened. And I was there August 1st, which was Tuesday. Yesterday, August 2nd, was when he left early from training camp, and that's when they started showing videos of him limping or whatever. But look, on Tuesday, he stayed like 30 minutes after practice was over and doing drills by himself and with some other random dude that wasn't even on uniform was hiking the ball to him, and he was like going left, going right. So I think he already knew that the following day he was going to do like half a practice or something just because of the time. So he stayed out there that Tuesday, and I was looking at him. In fact, I'll share the video with you later. I haven't posted it. He was out there by himself doing drills. So that makes me believe that he knew the following day he wasn't going to do a full practice. But other than that, his timing was great. The passes were accurate. He was in control of the offense. The players were giving him high five and they were going back and forth. And I didn't see anyone looking like upset after a drop ball or nothing like that, man. In fact, they just kept moving. And other than that, man, well, that's pretty much all I have to say on Jimmy Garoppolo, man. He looks good.
Yeah, exactly. So, Justin, any thoughts about of Jimmy Garoppolo's involvement as a quarterback? Because we know that Jimmy Garoppolo understands better with the system of Josh McDaniels. So, Dustin for the Dead Star report. So, give your thoughts about Jimmy Garoppolo as on training camp. Is he got an
I
involvement
mean,
in anything?
kind of like he's saying. I mean, like I've said, I've said the whole entire time since last year, Josh was going to go out and look for somebody that fit his system the best way. And for him coming out, starting in his system, being drafted from there, playing in it, coming here, having a connection with Devontae, with Trey, with Myers, with numerous people. I mean, if he's at the place, he's probably got way more better, looking point of view of what we can see. I can only go by what people are writing and talking and saying about. I do have other people that are there too, so I get to get insights from them and so on. But like I said, if he gets to watch every single play, you're going to have a way better insight of what he's visually seeing, from the videos, the tape, everything that I've seen of Jimmy already. I mean, just like they said, day one, he was struggling in the deep ball, takes day off, comes back already, then he's back on point in it, has really good short, mediate accuracy. I've heard him and Trey Tucker been hooking up really well. Him and Renfro been hooking up really good in camp. So, I mean, for me, like I said, I think at the end of the day, he's already been a starting quarterback on numerous, the Patriots and the Niners. So all I'm going to say is, I hope he comes here and has the same luck when we start the season. For me, I think I'm, more interested on, what's Aiden doing, in my opinion. How is he looking with the team, those types of things, because he's fourth-round pick. I think, to me, he could be our future. So I would like to know more how does he look compared to him in reps when they're out there in the field. And then when Jimmy left today, because a lot of people were saying he was limping. I mean, in that video, Hoyer was limping too. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know. You know what I mean? People are going to talk and talk. I mean, I imagine if it was bad enough, it would have showed up earlier, which you would have probably seen for sure. But like I said, I think people are just going to try to look for every little thing. But like I said, I like Jimmy. I've always said, man, I think Carr has better attributes in deep ball and certain things, but I think Jimmy has better attributes in game management coming from Bill Belichick, the system, the way that it's forced to be known in Bill Belichick's system. Derek Carr was who he was here, I think it's two different comparisons for me. I think Jimmy is going to probably work better for us in this system. So like I said, I'd be more curious to hear Aiden, but that's what I think.
Yep. And of course, I know that it's going to be really important for the training camp. So I know one of the new teams that are about Las Vegas Raiders is between speed and toughness. And it's going to be the use for the franchise, but they had to move it away and we just saw there's some rookies who are making a significant strides for the Nile Pads around. So they got to tell it about it. During the training camp that you saw MC Raider, which one of those rookies had made a great impact during the training camp? We just see a lot of tight end between Michael Mayer and some of the trap. So what was the rookie that had made a great impact during the training camps or of ahead of the season for Las Vegas Raiders?
Yeah, so back to what Dustin was saying about Aiden O'Connell, and I just want to touch on that because you're right. There's been a lot of talk about Jimmy Garoppolo not having the deep ball per se. I mean, he's a quarterback for sure. He could throw the ball, right? But
exactly
during training camp, he didn't have no deep ball passes. What they were working on, and all the deep ball passes was Aiden O'Connell, and that I was like, okay, well, when is Jimmy Garoppolo going to throw a long one, right? I was waiting for that. Nothing happened on that training camp. All the Aiden O'Connell, very accurate, very poised. He even had some reps with the first string. So, I tell you this much. I thought, for sure Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be with Hunter Renfro, Mike Meyer, and Davante Adams. Just the first string, right? And they had Aiden O'Connell playing with those boys too, man. In fact, there was a time where Davante Adams lined up with Marcus Peters, man, and the whole crowd was just going crazy because Marcus Peters, you could hear he was talking crap, but you couldn't really hear where we were sitting at. And it's unfortunate that they don't let the fans record or take pictures during those plays. When they're doing those things, they only let you record and take pictures when the players are not there or when they're stretching or they're when they're doing some minor things like just passing the ball back and forth. But when they start their actual drills and practicing, we can't get footage of that stuff. Only the actual reporters that are there in training camp, they get all that stuff. But there was a time where Aiden O'Connell had the rock, and it was they called the play. Davante Adams and Marcus Peters, man, they lined up against each other, and everybody was like, "Oh, here we go." But no, Davante Adams cooked this guy, man. He took him, and Aiden O'Connell threw must have been like a 50-yard bomb, bro. And Davante Adams got the ball, and if you can see that clip when Davante Adams catches the ball, one of the Raiders
Oh,
clips,
yes.
and everybody goes crazy. But I tell you this much, yeah, I didn't see anything of Jimmy Garoppolo doing nothing like that. I saw nothing but short passes, slants, dishing it off to the running back, throwing to Mike Meyer down the seam, just quick little whatever they were working with him. So that's all I really saw that happen today, and so that kind of maybe it's a concern. I don't know. Can he really throw the ball, or maybe can't? Does he even have enough power on his foot that just got the surgery that he can't, force to throw the ball that far? Maybe that could be an issue. Maybe that could be that's the reason why he's not throwing the deep ball, and that's what all these reporters are saying. Because if it's like that, if he started training camp like that, barely trying to rehab his feet, but he got cleared, maybe he doesn't want to force, because obviously you need your legs and feet to have power to throw the ball. He didn't throw any of it.
Exactly. And we just talked a little about the rookies that have made like a great impact, and we just saw like Michael Mayer them going to a lot of abilities to speed, and also we just saw like a lot of rookies getting into the action, getting into the shape, because right now it's we had to do the end about the training camp, so they had to go for like involved about it. So right now, MC Raider and Dustin, can you talk a little about for all the defense that you just saw for the training camp, and of course, how this is gonna be involved for the defense and going out for a half of the season? So, do you check out for the defense that is gonna be like if they had a lot of speed, their ability, anything?
I don't know, Dustin. You want to, or I can share what I saw. I mean,
yeah,
Okay.
you can start or me. I don't care. You can, man.
Okay,
I mean,
so
you were
first we're
there.
gonna
So,
start with MC
yeah,
Raider
yeah.
and then with Justin White. So there you go.
Yeah, so I mean, tell you the truth, the defense were. I made notes on what I wanted to see. The main things. Number one was Jimmy G. Number two was our defense for sure, and obviously our rookies. To touch on the defense, they look like they were all in tune. I love the chemistry. I like the way uh, they were flying around. That was the first day with Pats when I went to the training camp, and they look fast. They look really fast. I really like how Max Crosby is getting everybody pumped up on the defensive side of the ball, and then also Marcus Peters too, the veteran presence. Um, he was very how could I say it? He was very loud. He was telling a lot of people, a lot of players, kind of screaming at them and stand here, you've got to be there and everything. But they looked like they were all in tune to what they were supposed to be doing. So it looks promising. Nate Hobbs was there too. Nate Hobbs looks faster, looks more healthy, and he looks like he's having a lot of fun out there. So be careful with Nate Hobbs and Marcus Peters out there running around, man. They look good. And then Marcus Ebb was just in control, man. You could just tell his presence was there too, and his experience that he has over the rookies. He was just letting them know certain things. So there was a lot of not screaming, but a lot of verbal action, like telling people where to go, where to put the spots, and I really like seeing all that. So that looks promising too. I believe we're going to be a little bit better than last year.
Mm-hmm. So, Dustin, any thoughts about the defense?
yeah, for the rookies, right?
Yep, the rookies
Yeah,
and the defense for the training camp.
So for our rookies in general, or like UDFAs too. Is that what you're saying?
That was what I talking
All right,
about.
all right. So look, for me personally, I like I like that every single time that somebody brings up Adam Plant, you get every single dude. Like you have Chandler sitting over here talking about Adam Plant and his when he's getting interviewed, when they ask him like, hey, what's the one rookie player that you're like interested in and who you're see, he's like Adam Plant instantly, like not even batting an eye. Even in now in pressers, things like he still likes the way the kid's obviously showing up in there. There's somebody I was going to ask him about is like which I would like to know more on is Tarlis, dude. I haven't got to see much on that dude, so I don't know if you got to see much on him out on the field. But I know Max.
Plan is number 52, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's wearing Max's little number.
Yeah. I meant to talk about him. I just forgot his name, but yeah, he doesn't look like a rookie, man. He looks like he's just fit right in with the first string. So, but I tell you the truth, I didn't really focus much on all the rookies. Besides, I don't know really all their names, but I was looking at Marcus Peters, and I was looking at Epps, and I was looking at Diablo, and I was looking at just the players that are coming back, see if they were, if they look different, if they were in shape, if they were like, have chemistry. Like that's where I was really focused on. So I don't really have much on the rookies on the defensive side. And obviously, Tyree Wilson wasn't there, so that's a bummer that he hasn't even practiced yet.
Yeah, and they already said that he probably won't even practice until either first week of the preseason or the starting of the season, just for injury reasons. But like Drake Thomas, man, another dude that's been showing up all over the board that people have been talking about a lot, especially at the linebacker spot. Jade, man, Jade's another player like that I'm a lot interested in, dude, because I think this guy obviously come from Arizona, having the coach here to be able to bring him along, and then him actually starting to show up out here. Like he's a big boy, man, and I think when the pads are on like right now, he's going to most definitely challenge for that spot and make sure that I think he's going to get that spot. I mean, that dude is, like I've said, I've never been really interested in like D tackle players like that. And every single time I read about Jade, man, Nesta Jade, this guy is just stepping up every single time. Dudes are saying like, hey, this dude's got straight man strength, NFL strength, things like that. That matters a lot, especially when you're going against big offensive linemen, things like that. Bernie, another player that's been popping up around camp that people are talking about, saying how he's coming along with it. Then he's a safety, been moved to the linebacker position too. So like that's another good add for us. He's got speed. I think it's 4.40. So I mean, he sees angles. He gets after the run. I think he'll be somebody dangerous down on the line, especially as the season goes on if he gets any reps to begin with. Like I said, I want to know more about Tarlis because I just don't really know much about the guy, but I hear Max talk about him quite often. So when I hear Max talk and saying like, hey, I have, private meetings with him, this like telling him like how I seen it when I was at that point, kind of seems like he's invested in certain people. So I feel like if a guy of his caliber takes the time to be invested in somebody, maybe he sees something in him, so and outside of that, that's kind of where I think, you got to think, we literally just name 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people. Chris Smith, even probably another, Cam Smith, I think his name's Christopher Smith, but he's still another one that I've yet to get a lot of information on. But I've heard that he has played all right. I haven't heard no negatives on him yet. But another player I'd like to know more about because I hear more on apps and things of those factors. So I'd kind of like to know more on him, more, just to have a little more information on him. But I guess if nobody's talking about you, I guess can't be doing nothing wrong, So I guess that's the way you can look at it too. So,
and and for a long time, like the especially the D line or just the defense itself, there it's like where we're sitting at, it's like the field all far left. They have 3 fields, and the defense were all the way to the first field, like on the far, as far as you have. Then they have the offense in the middle field, and then for a long period of time, they had like the special teams on our side. They were just doing like, like the kickoffs and the returns and stuff like that. So we couldn't just, I guess we do that so people cannot really, record or do when they're doing their plays or stuff like that. So it was very
so they don't show them.
Yeah, so it was very difficult to see that. So obviously when they, like towards like maybe the last 40 minutes of training camp, they come over here where the crowd's at, and that's where they started going with their plays and all this stuff to hear the crowd going. And and they motivate the crowd. So I guess they want to do it. So like if they're in an actual game, they have people screaming, and they try to do that type of like like that type of environment for the players, like doing signs with their hands, calling out plays, and they have us all screaming and shit and all that stuff. And but yeah, it's kind of hard to really focus on all these other rookies and stuff like that. But I really like the team, guys. I was expecting them to be kind of like slower in pace, but it looked like they're on it, man. I really like the chemistry, and like I said, it was promising.
Mm-hmm. So right now we're gonna read some comments right now. So we got Ray Love, salute Rafa. Also Roy Loves to say salute nation. Then a very sports highlight. How's it going? So we got D Menace in the house. Radio Nation Chasing, how's it going? Salute, salute, salute. D Menace also to salute Jason. Radio Nation Chasing to say D Menace. Also to say House Trayvon Morick, and of course to say Mark to say Coons. I mean, those are the questions that are about the house. Trayvon Morick and Coons that they call for from the training camp. So right now we just saw like we're in a training camp about Trey Tucker, which is the latest inclusions of the Raiders. So right now you just see like the more experience about the speed. And when Josh McDaniels said about Trey Tucker, he was more interested about the speed, the ability, and of course he was talking about of how they're gonna improve about, because right now the wide receiver is the most important thing, which is the wide of the position. But right now that it seems that how they're gonna involve for Trey Tucker, which is he has an amazing speed and he can knock him out. So first we're gonna talk about with MC Radio about Trey Tucker, and then for the Death Star report, the Dumpster about Trey Tucker, and of course Murray and Coons. I think your mic is muted.
You hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yep.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I didn't really get much on Tucker and everything. Like really, like Morrig, I saw Morrig really like kind of defending, but he was just like the ball really didn't get thrown to his side. After what I've seen, so I couldn't really like see when they were doing their drills. They were really far away, but I really wish I had more into that. I couldn't really change it.
Mm-hmm. Can you hear us, Dustin, for the Death Star report?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yes, about the Trey Tucker, about the training camp, and between Trayvon Morick and Malcolm Coons.
So with Trey Tucker to start out, I mean, like I said, from everything I've heard from people and reports there, is that guy's been coming along pretty well, man. Like they say that he's coming along really well, and he's connecting with Jimmy really good. I mean, just like I said, Hunter Renfro's hooking up with Jimmy really well. So I mean, and it even proves the point with what MC says is that he's not throwing deep balls, where they're saying that it's immediate to short to intermediate passes that they're connecting on and doing pretty well with. So, for instance, like you got Tucker, they were talking about he was fielding punt and kick returns already, trying to say like they want to get him developed in there and be able to kick him back just because of his explosiveness, things of those factors. So, like I said, I would love to see more and more on him as the camp goes through, preseason, things like that. I think that's probably more where I'm more focused to see is this upcoming week, for our preseason. Against the Niners to see, because even the Niners backup players are still pretty good players, you know what I mean? Like, so if we're getting to watch Tucker and then go out there play pretty well, then I'd be pretty excited about it, which I already am because I have high hopes for Tucker. I mean, he's a little burner, man, and everything he's been doing out here, everybody's just keeps advocating that he's coming along pretty nice. And the Morick deal, it's tough because, like he said in his own press conference, he said that he was struggling in the system, things like that. Like he wasn't able to come to it right away. Even in the second year, he's still kind of having certain issues with it that he's saying, and this is out of his own mouth. You know what I mean? So to me, I would like to been at there so I can see like what is it that he's struggling in. Is he saying these things because people are repeating it from last year, so he's just making people believe it, but in camp he's really doing good, you know? Like it's things like that. Like I don't know what he's doing in the camp because I can't physically see it, you know what I mean? So if I was able to physically hone in on how he's playing, where he's at, is he on ball, is he off ball, I'd probably speak more in depth on it. But I don't like bashing a dude without having those facts, you know. And from last year, from what a player does last year and a player does this year, that's why it's called development, dude, because a lot of players will come along. And then, like, with these type of players, like, you know, Chris Ash, Jason Simmons, our linebacker, Rob Ryan, multiple other people back there, they teach these fundamentals and tackling and so on, dude. So, like, they're going to be able to hone in on stuff if this is his issue and that. But like I said, it's kind of hard to speak on it. All I can speak is what he said. He seemed like he was still kind of out on Josh's system at the moment, just in certain things, I guess. But I don't know what those are because he didn't speak on them. So, and Kuntz, man, that's my guy, man. I mean, I've said it, dude. I don't care. I think Kuntz can be a beast, bro. Like, I've said that guy, man. Every time he's on the field, he has production, dude. Like, he shows up, dude. Like, he'll show up in the pressures. He's going to show up in the sacks. I mean, and he just done it on a very few snaps, you know, and that's the whole thing. I don't know what's holding him back. I don't know why Josh or why nobody's actually pushed him out there to play harder, but I know last year they put him on a weight program and he gained weight. I know that he's more acclimated in the system. Putting him on the podium kind of, I mean, you don't just put anybody on the podiums a lot of the time for pressers. So to see him go up there and talk and things like that, I think is like more like they want to advocate him up there because you could have put anybody else up there. Why'd you put him? You know, so that's all I'm saying is like, I think he's coming along, you know, the development. Now they're like, okay, let's start showing him. It kind of like showing like, hey, we developed him last year. Now look what he's going to do this year kind of shit, you know, putting him on display for people to see. So for me, I have high hopes for Kuntz, you know, like he can play linebacker, DN. I hope he makes it. And like, for me, I would love for him to still stay here. He's one of my favorite players, even not even playing much. So.
Yeah, I really wish that I was able to see more of them. Like you said, we're so far away to even see that. But my main focus was on the players that were returning and the veterans and see how they were looking. And chemistry is very important to me. That's one thing I wanted to see. You know, I believe that after the first season that we had last season with Josh McDaniels. It was kind of shaky, but we were in a lot of games, and I just wanted to see the chemistry this time. So it was good, man.
When you see him out there, playing, how did the offense and defense, like, were the ones going against the ones yet in there, and how did they look? Was the offense moving down the field against that defense pretty easily? Was the defense getting the stops? You know,
so the time when they went the 2-minute offense when they were going, man, Josh McDaniels and Jimmy Garoppolo, they're so in sync, man. It was crazy to see. It was no, like he was looking at each other. Some signs they were doing between them, and they knew what the hell they were supposed to do. And it probably took less than a minute and a half, and he took them all the way downfield, man, with like 4 quick plays, and they were down there, man, and they scored in the red zone so fast.
That's key. That's big time. That's big time key.
And that was against the first string defense. That's when they got Max Crosby. Jimmy Garoppolo got him on a hard count, man, and Max Crosby went offsides, and that's when they sent Crosby to run that lap. So they just by that you could tell how Jimmy Garoppolo has this offense in tune with him. So that was big time. But like I said, also they have Aiden O'Connell running with the first string too, man. So you could see like maybe that's some type of motivation that Josh McDaniels is trying to do against Jimmy because
Jimmy's production behind was Aiden's production behind Jimmy by a lot, or was it looking pretty close?
When they were not running, when they were just doing like one-on-ones with the receivers and throwing the ball, Aiden O'Connell looked very comfortable. When it came to when they did that 2-minute offense and stuff like that, you could tell Aidan O'Connell was kind of shaky. He kept going back and forth looking at Josh McDaniels for the play. And that's when you could tell, you could separate the rookie from the veteran, and from Jimmy Garoppolo knowing the system way more than Aidan O'Connell, obviously. And that's where you could tell the difference. But that kid O'Connell, man, he looks tough. He looks like a bright future, man.
Yep, you got a bright future on it. So right now, I can see what are the comments right now. Salute, Rafa and Dustin, Mr. Tokyo Soul. Within this chasing to say, Dustin facts, bro. I want Coons to ball. Gorpedison in the house, Rafa, Dustin, MC Raider, and Nation. Also, we got a D-Menace right here. Salute. Within this chasing to say, Gord, salute. Everybody else and in the acting of the chat. So I'm going to tell you, folks, make sure to subscribe to Rafael Chassin, as known as El Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. And, of course, make sure to subscribe to MC Raider, not only on YouTube, but also on Spotify. You can listen to him. And, of course, you can make sure to subscribe to the Death Star Report every Monday to Friday at 10 p.m. They got a lot of things to talk about for the Raiders stuffs. And, of course, in between of preseason, the regular season, and, of course, the postseason. So, yes, there is a lot of them. So, there's much love in this one to say, yes, Mr. Tokyo Soul, salute, bro. So, okay, so right now I got to tell you about this, folks, because Max Crosby games like a big welcome to Michael Mayer. And I know MC Raider, I just saw you another photo about Max Crosby and just went to the number 17 on the top 100. So that means with the combination between Max Crosby giving like a little warm welcome to Michael Mayer, that was surreal. It's fantastic. And they probably, it wasn't like a bad lesson, because they had to learn a lot of bad lessons under this season. But the hard ones, it goes for the best times. And every first-year player had at least one those moments had to go for it. The point is they're going to expect it about isn't hitting the ground running about it as part of the game, especially since his run blocking could be like the most difficult transition for a rookie type at the end. And McDaniels had some shine for the life of the side of the things. So right now, let's start with MC Raider about Max Crosby giving like a warm welcome to Michael Mayer, and then we're gonna talk with Dustin. So first MC Raider, and then Dustin for the Death Star Report.
Yeah, well, you know, they're focusing a lot on that play where Mike Mayer was trying to block and Crosby blocked his hand, and you know, but they're focusing a lot on that play. But it seemed like that day Max Crosby was really trying to do that to everyone, because everybody was wearing pads, and he was like, all right. So he was like really pumping everyone up and like, all right, welcome to the NFL. And he was like really doing like shady shit, like pulling the shirts, hitting the helmet, like really like, or like, you know. So when they were going at it, you know, Meyer went up, tried to block Crosby, and you know, that was the welcome to the NFL. It took him like a second and just threw his ass to the floor, moved him out of the way, you know. And it was like, oh shoot, Mike Meyer got up, and as what I can see, other people focus more on everything, but you know, he was just pumping him up, man. He was tapping him in the butt and come on and screaming at him and everything. So it's like it's not college no more, guys. It's NFL now, and it's, you know, it was like that type of environment that day. So it was good to see, man. He was going everywhere, man. Max Crosby was going everywhere and like hitting people with the helmet and pumping them up and stuff like that. And it was great to see. So Mike Meyer took him for the team that day, and that was cool, man, because he got up and went back on blocking.
So Dustin, any thoughts about the Max Crosby giving it like a warm welcome to Michael Mayer as a tight end from the Notre Dame? So any thoughts about that?
Yeah. Like I said, one of my topics actually in my show was Max was killing people at the first day with pads on, and I was talking about that literally the night before on my channel. That I keep trying to tell people, like, when you don't have pads on, man, it's like, even like Robert Spillane even said in his presser, it's just not playing. It's not like playing football, you know. It's a whole different atmosphere, a whole different beast comes out when those pads come on. So I think like Max, never stopped really training through the off season, said that he started his training 6 months earlier this year, just keeps pumping himself up, got those pads on, and then he got to face Michael. I was like, well, this is going to be a bad day for him, because I heard that dude got thrown to the ground like 10 times, man, like literally, where people were like, hey, man, they kind of felt bad for him at a point. But the people were like, hey, Michael Mayer is still holding his own. Keep getting back up. Keep going back in there. Like you were saying, people said that Max was still trying to talk him up, but still get in there. But Max was getting on with Jimmy, too, at the same time, So he was over there shit-talking Jimmy at the same time. So bad it made him have to run laps, So I've always said, Max, last year, and then coming into this season, when I watched his weight program and everything, his training that he's went through for the whole time that he's been a Raider, and then like where he's at right now and how they have him on this crazy high tech fucking system, dude, and how they've been monitoring his progress, how he's going up and everything. And man, this dude, I swear I said this year, he's like a full man, dude. Like he's a straight ox, dude. Like this dude is just gonna meaty, dude, because when you looked at him the last few years, putting it together, trying to get, all the tangibles all together, this year it's like he knows he got it together, and he knows he's gonna wreck your life, and if he's getting off on that edge like that and still getting past Mayer like that, all it shows is like Mayer needs to kind of build up on it, obviously, because like you can't just go read up on a guy and say, hey, he's from Notre Dame and has all this success and gonna come here. The difference is he's going to be facing some meat-eating ends over there, dude. So he's going to need to buckle down and play a little tougher against people. So in my opinion, like I'm glad that Max did it, and I'm glad Max is over there getting in people's head, just like Jimmy's getting in people's head, because I think that's a big part in football that people are just looking right past. And they always say it's 90% mental, 10% physical, because if a dude can get into you before you get off there, and you got Jimmy over here getting at Max getting at Jimmy, but I don't think it's affecting either one of them like to those guys because of the mind that they're in. I don't think it affects them like that, but it will a guy like Michael, because he's not ready for it yet. And you can be so much college ready, but this is a whole different ball game. Like you're not just looking at a dude across the way that's your age, got a few more pounds on. You're looking at a straight man, dude, that wrecks people's lives for a living over here. So, like I said, hey, kudos to Max and kudos to Mayer, but I think it's needed. Like in my opinion, I think it's needed. I think that we're not playing flag football. I think you need to let people know, like, hey, bro, like, this is why they pay me $25 million a year, because I'm gonna throw your ass down straight up, and it doesn't matter if it's here in practice or not. And that's why you need to take it the same way and look at it the same way, that practice or a game, man, might be the same damn thing to some people, So basically, I think what Max is doing, what he hasn't done in the past, is basically saying, like, bring your best every day. It doesn't matter if it's practice or at the game. Like, bring it every fucking day, and I'm stoked for it.
And what best to have this rookie going at it with one of the best, defensive end in the NFL, bro. And it's like, hey, man, put your little college shit away. You're in the NFL now. Like you're going with men, and it's like 10 times faster than that college shit. And it's the truth. So
hey, imagine if he starts picking up Max on blocks, dude, even getting a chip, dude, or fucking him coming at him and him buckling down and just fucking hitting, even though that bull's gonna still probably wreck you. Like that's a difference. When dudes set back, dude, and anticipate the impact, they get pushed into the quarterback. That hurts you, Like even if he knows he's gonna lose that fight, like he still needs to know, like he needs to hit him like a brick wall, because that's what may stop Jimmy, or may stop Max for just that 1 second that allows Jimmy to get the ball off. Like there's a difference when it's impact and it stays there, and impact where it moves somebody, So that's all I'm saying. Like if Michaal can learn that shit against Max, he's gonna probably be able to hold his own against a lot of dudes in the NFL. So I would most definitely keep it coming.
And the Jimmy Garoppolo, he got his shit down. He wasn't scared of Max. You could tell he was like, I wasn't there physically to hear it, but I could see from far away, and you could tell there was a lot of shit talking going back and forth. Like I can imagine Crosby be like, "All right, I'm coming for you," and then Jimmy was like, "All right, I'm waiting for you," or whatever. And that's why he got him on that hard count, man. That's what he got. He went offsides, and They send Crosby running a lap.
Oh,
But
no kidding. That's what got him the lap, was the offsides.
Yeah.
Hey,
So
that's good, man. Jimmy's played against some of the best in the league. It's not like
yeah,
Jimmy's just over here not playing against good players. Like Jimmy's seen some of the best come at him. So
exactly. People forget that. So Jimmy Garoppolo, I mean, shit, Jimmy went to the Super Bowl, bro. You know, like this guy, he's been under that pressure. So yeah, they were going at it, and then you know, a few times you know, Crosby was just going through the goddamn offensive line and tapping Jimmy, like getting all these sacks on Jimmy. You know, he could just touch his shirt and that was a sack, you know, and he was just going through it. But there was this one point where Jimmy was like, all right, and did a hard count and got his ass. And that's what made Crosby ran that lap.
Yeah, it is. So right now, let's hit off at the comments right now. Let's say Toby Chile, what's good, everybody? Also, we got Toby Chile, Jimenez. All right, so I know for a fact about Kelsey with the training camp. So right now, it means like the training camp because it means like involving all the defense, the O-line, and of course the offense for the Raiders. I mean, this is gonna be like really, really fantastic if we have the power to go into to concentrate for all these players, because I've been seeing like a lot of players getting in shape, getting in action, because right now it is getting focused, because last season it just went so bad, but right now they have to stay focused about the defense. So it came like the linebacker room, because right now they have some veterans like Devon Diablo, Robert Spillane. I mean, there's something missing. And we just have it on linebackers that we need some good about the defense. So right now the Nets that are talking about it is because right now the seat of the running backs Samir White, because right now he's entering for the second season with the team, and they're expecting the rights for the opportunity to contain overwhelming, but there's a letter to take it, and there's going to be a letter about it. So with Jacobs currently not in the future, because Samir White is going to be like increased workload, but who needs to like improve it about this vision about the Samir White, and Amir Abdul like can be like a really helpful about the running back. So he addressed like with the training camp about how he's going to pick it about the leadership, and then they say about the players that they give it a learn from another one. And the good thing about Samir White is going to be like willing to listen. I mean when it comes to like the Samir White, is going to be expected to take like the bigger role into the offense, but he's like at the better end, like at Abdullah in this corner to help me like the learning about the ropes. So first we're gonna talk with MC Raider, and then for the Death Star report, Dustin White about Samir White. How can we improve about during the training camp, and of course how can we improve about what's gonna happen for the season.
Well, I mean, look. Samir White, he looks great. I mean, you can't really how can I even put it? You're there at training camp, you see them running the drills. They're not getting tackled or nothing like that, like really badly. He looks like he's focused. He looks like he knows the offense real well for being the second season now with the Raiders. This is the second season, and
yes,
yeah. So he looks. He looks like he wants the job, but obviously, when all this Josh Jacobs thing is always roaming around in the area, that you could probably tell that they're not confident to, it maybe fucks with their head, stuff like that. But from what I saw from Samir White, he looks really good. He looks. In fact, they did some catching plays also for him. He caught the ball. He didn't drop the ball once. Just for a quick drop off or slants, or like a what do you call it when you just I lost the word, but anyway, he caught the ball a lot, and the running plays were, I didn't see nothing bad, man. The guy's fast. I saw him like he it was like he wasn't a rookie anymore. He looks like he fits right in, and he's ready to go and take that spot. But I can just imagine how it is knowing if Josh Jacobs is coming or not. If he's gonna be the star running back or not. So that's pretty much, I think, what's happening with Samir White right now. But he doesn't look like he's lost a step. In fact, he looks faster and he looks like dude, he looks stronger too.
Yep. So, Dustin, any thoughts about Samir White and how can he improve about what's going to happen? Because right now, Josh Jacobs' dilemma is getting after the news. So, Dustin, any thoughts about Samir White?
Yeah, man, I'm conflicted with Zamir, man, because last year, like I said, last year I said this guy, he could hit a pole on an open field, like straight up, dude. Like this guy will run into everything, like run in the back of his line, run into the damn lineman, he'd run into everything, run into the ref. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he could just hit anything. So for me, from what I've heard, and what he's done here in camp is like, I have heard that he showed up more focused, more down to play, wanting the snaps, wanting to be developed. That he's, like they said, they said Zeus was fighting to the end, dude. Like he would be running all the way down the field, fucking trying to finish. Like he basically is trying like to develop in year 2, right? So year 2 with the name being the third round pick in there, Josh and Ziegler are most definitely going to try to push him a little bit, but I'm more, like I've said, I think I'm more interested in Sincere, because Sincere I think is the real deal. I think that guy is the truth. I think that dude's going to be somebody to watch out for damn sure. And I've said like Britton Brown just looks more fluent, looks better in his drills. He looks a lot fluent, dude. Like he moves around really well. Everything that I look at, Zeus, he seems like a little stiff, like when he's hitting holes or hitting pockets. Like, yeah, I think the thing I noticed with Zeus this year, I would say is Zeus may look a little stiffer, but he identifies the hole now. Like he knows where he's going this year. So I would say in that aspect, like, yeah. And look, if Josh is here, they've already said he's going to get 75 carries plus no matter what. So that's going to drop Josh's numbers, things like that. So for me, if I'm being real, like I've already said, I think you'll see Zamir, Brown, Sincere, because that's why I think like with Walters getting injured right now, and then they're kind of doing with him like they did with Sincere last year, where they're disclosing the injury and then counting them out for the whole year right away. That's how you pocket dudes. The Patriots used to do this shit all the time, dude. They used to pocket guys this exact way. So if they return them back to the practice squad, they don't have to fucking put a protection on them, and they don't have to worry about people taking them. So I think like Walters has a good feeling to be a good player, because I actually wanted to see more of them in the preseason. But I think they're going to focus on, in my opinion, it's going to be Zeus, Brown, Sincere, Amir Abdullah, because I believe Amir Abdullah will be the third down back this year, because he just has more proven player in him, as in scat back and being more in the red zone. So I think Samir or Abdullah will be the third down back, and then I think they're going to split the deal between the three, because I've said this the whole entire time. It doesn't, in Josh's system, it doesn't matter if one guy gets 340 carries for 1,600 yards. Josh has shown you through his whole time with other backs that's never even taken the field before ever. They've had the same numbers with dual backs. 200 carries, fucking 900 yards, 130 carries for 600 yards, 1,500 total yards, 20 touchdowns. Like, so for me, I'm kind of more interested in seeing these young guys go out there and have us 500, 600, 700 yard, and then another 500 and a 400, because I think in me, because I'm, like I said, I've played football my whole life. I play Madden to no extent, dude. Like I take everything in football fucking as dead serious as physically possible. I've always said I'm not biased when it comes to my team. I do not favor players over the shield, dude. I protect the shield over the players, and I believe you're a way more dangerous team when you have three backs line up in the backfield, not knowing what the fuck they're gonna do, versus knowing one guy. I said Waller's predictable. If you're Roquan, if you're Smith and you're just sitting on the opposite side, all he's got to do is tell himself at 80% of the time this is going to be a pass. 80%. And then if you're good like Dion, he can be like, hey, if he sits down this way or stands up that way, he already knows run or pass. You know what I mean? So I don't know Waller's tendencies to that, but all I'm saying is certain people become giveaways, and that's why I want to see the 3 backs, because nobody knows who they are. You don't know who they can be either.
Hey, Dustin, you remember that game when Raiders played the Patriots at New England, and the fucking they beat us with all the running backs?
Yeah.
All the running backs run the shit out of us. Remember that?
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
and then I was trying to tell people like, okay, yeah, Josh Jacobs did his thing, whatever, but bro, that's not Josh McDaniels' thing, man. You know, it's
That's
like
bad.
he'll use all his running backs, bro. And if there's a game where he's just gonna run the ball the whole, he'll find a way, dude. And that's just the facts, man.
I think when you have a guy like Josh, you as a coach, you're kind of devoted to giving him the the plethora of the snaps. But this is what I'm going to say straight up, and I'm going to stick by this to the day I die, because of the fact, because I believe in Josh, and I believe in, like, Josh McDaniels and Ziegler, like a mother. But this is one thing that's factual truth is that under Josh McDaniels for 20 years, right? He got 5 rings calling the offense and 1 as QB coach. And long story short, he has 6 with them, but 5 calling plays, right? And all 5 of those rings in that 20-year span, he ain't never
over there. Like, he don't have Josh Jacobs.
He has a plethora of backs in the backfield, no different than he did with slot receivers. Like, a lot of people in the Patriots system would probably think that they had success with wide receivers and so on. That's a myth, man. Their success came from tight ends and slot receivers for most of the time, and their halfbacks have always pulled over 1,000 combined. And that's all that matters. At the end of the day, if Josh gets 340 carries for 1,600 yards and 12 touchdowns, right? That's what he got. That was his numbers. If you go over here to the Patriots, where when Josh called it in his last year with them, right? And you had Stevenson and Harris, and then you can do this, go back years. It's the same thing over years. When you have those 2 players, they what was theirs? Theirs was 200. They had 200. So between them, they had 200. So Stevens had 202 for 929 yards. Harris had 133 for 606, combined for 20 touchdowns. They averaged 4.6 yards apiece. Both of them averaged 4.6. You go to Josh, right? And their combined was 335. That's what their combined carries. This is why I say Josh's system is systematic. So this is why it doesn't matter who the hell's back there, because it's the numbers. And then Josh and them, I guarantee you, with their algorithm, when they do this in the off season, I bet you they say, hey, we want to be around the 350 mark running through the whole year. So they mark it, and then they put a number to the side that probably says 4.0 yards per average to 5 yards per average. That's what I bet you they want to average in those 340 yards, which give them X amount of yardage versus X amount of touchdowns. Now, and I know this is true because it is not coincidence that 1 year later, he comes here to the Raiders, goes with Josh Jacobs. We have no backs. We have nobody that's even worth a shit. We go with Josh, 340 carries. That's 5 more than what they ran last year, the year before. 1,653 yards compared to their 1,535. So he's over by 100 and something yards, and he has 12 touchdowns with 4.9 yards per carry. Those numbers are not that coincidence just because, like, by mere coincidence. That shit is system. That shit is designed, and it didn't matter if Josh was there or Harris or them, because every back before them has been doing the same thing. And all I'm saying is when you have that type of guys, and this is what I'm like more like success for our rookies, is that they can be those dudes getting those 400, 500, 600, 700 yards and having 3 of them be able to work back there with very high ceilings, scat backs, freaking power backs, freaking zone players. Like I said, I'm excited, man. Like, I'm excited. I can go on all day. You know what I mean? Because I think in the our halfbacks, and with Josh McDaniels, I get it. Like, Josh Jacobs is a name that people are going off the name and the production. But I've said under John Gruden, with a good offense and a good team, Josh is 1,000-yard back, bro. Like, that's facts, dude. And if people want to sit here and say, well, he's over the 1,000-yard mark, it takes 61 yards per game, bro, to get over 1,000 yards. It's not much, man. Like, that's not much. He should have 100 yards per game, man. We should be talking 1,600 yards every single season playing 17 games. You know, like, that's all I'm saying is like, for our team, outside of the natural bias of a name, I would love to see Sincere, McCormick, Brown, and Zeus go out there and fight for that job and fight as a team through the whole season, because certain games you can use certain players differently and teams can't hone in on it, dude. They're going to have to always be aware, because they're like, what's he doing? Like, you're always going to have a guy guessing on the defense. I think our defense has always been so predictable, where they're like, well, this guy's going to do this, this receiver going to do that, that halfback does this. I think now there's so much versatility in there, it could be very dangerous with the dudes we have back there. And I've said if they were in New England right now, guess who they would be playing? Those damn dudes right now. So
yeah, and of course I would guarantee, because we just talked about the prospect, because they need to pay that man, because what I'm just telling you about the running backs on the market has been questionable about the system for over years, but right now it's all changed. Right now it's all changing. I know that's a matter of the fact, because we need to improve.
Oh man, damn.
Oh, yeah, I think it will lost the connection. Yeah, but right now, the last thing before we wrap this out about the training camp, we just saw like the interesting about the fact, which is right now that it is seeing like the 53-man roster. They'll go all the way for the true time with the training camps. So they're going to start over to figure it out what's going to happen. Okay, so yes, we're back. All right, so there it is. All right, so right now the last topic that we're talking about. Okay, so the last topic we're talking about is the 53-man roster half the way for the 2023 training camp. So right now they're going to figure it out. Much different handle the group and the management of the online that season. And Dave Ziegler has to go for to rebuild the defense, change the quarterbacks, and they have key offensive weapons to reshape it about the franchise. So it's going to happen it's more talented than they go for the year before. So they're going to for the 15-man roster they had. So they're going to look at it about it. So first, they got the quarterbacks between Jimmy Garoppolo, Ryan Howard, and Aiden O'Connor. There's no big shakeup. So in the running backs, they got Josh Jacobs. I think we lost another connection right now. Okay, so we got the running backs of Josh Jacobs, Amir Abdullah, Samir White, and Jacob Jason. For the wide receivers, they got 6, which is the interesting about the pool between Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Jacoby Myers, DeAndre Carter, Trey Tucker, and Philip Dorsett. And for the tight ends, they got Michael Mayer, Austin Hopper, Justin Forsett. Also, we got the offensive line, Colton Miller, Jimmy Oliver, Andrew James, Dylan Parham, Alice Barr. So this is like a part of the 53-man roster ahead for the training camp. So Dustin, any thoughts about the 50-man roster going ahead for the training camp? Because that's the last topic we're talking about on this special episode. Any thoughts about the 53-man roster ahead for the regular season?
So are we saying like are you saying like who do I think's going to be on it?
Yep. Yeah, it is.
And what positions, or like all positions?
Like at all the positions.
Well, that's a tough one there, man. Like, so I mean, I can probably go through mine pretty quick, dude. So I think obviously
name one position. Just name one position. There's gonna be like just name one position, because we're at the offensive line, of the defense.
And who's gonna be the starters in it?
Yeah, who's gonna be like a starters and who's gonna be cut?
All right. I mean, the corners are always an interesting topic, because I think that's already a tough place to start, you know? So, I mean, I'd start at the corners, just because I always try to start at the hardest place, you know what I mean? So for me, like, I would probably go in the corners, and I'd probably say, like, if I'm picking my starters, I'm probably going to go with Hobbs, Peters, Bennett for locks. I mean, those have to be locks. So I'd go Hobbs, Bennett, Peters. Then Faceum. I mean, Faceum's got a two-year contract, so I'd put him at the 4th. Then 5. That's tough because, like, I think Hall and Shelley both could probably be candidates for sure, but you could always revert Hall. So I would say Shelley. I would pick Shelley, and then I would say that Hall and Webb would go to the practice squad. That's probably how I would pick it, man. So I would go Hobbs, Peter, Bennett, Bassam, Shelley, and then Hall and Webb to the practice squad. So if we ran with 5 corners, that's how I would run mine. You hear me? Did he freeze? Oh. This fool freeze up on his own shit. But hey, man, that's who I would pick if it was me picking it, dude. I would probably roll with Nate Hobbs in the slot, Peters in the outside. I'd put Bennett on the opposite of face him to rotate because he's man press, so he can pick up behind Peters. Shelley the same way. And then put Hall and Webb to the practice squad, and then that way, because you can rotate them in and out through the season. So Long, I mean, unless Long just shows up and Robertson shows up, I've always said I think the battle is between Roberts and Shelley. I think they are the same player. I think the battle is between those two. And then, like, Long, I think, is the battle between Faceum. I mean, in all honesty. And then Faceum just got the 2-year contract, so I think Faceum just has the upper hand right away. And then Hall, I just think, has got a favor because of the fact that we signed him last year and brought him here. So that's the only thing I would say is he's got a little bit of favor to be on the team.
Okay, so we just back. Okay, so we just back, and of course, we just have this. So, what did you tell a little about of the 50-man roster? That was very impressive, and of course, we just lost connection with MC Raider, and we just have a difficult issues, but we just came back for it right now. So right now, I apologize for the technical issues that I just got it, but it was a great pleasure to have the conversation with MC Raider and from the Death Star Report.
Heck yeah.
Right, yes. And of course, I don't have any last thoughts about it because we just wrap up the show. So do you have any? Do you have like any last thoughts before that we can wrap that up?
Man, I mean, like I said, I mean, all I can say is I hope that Graham can show up more with his players that he picked through the Senior Bowl, and then now getting, like, most of them are showing up in camp. They're the ones everybody's talking about. So for me, like all I can say is like I hope that Graham's production starts to show up here in preseason, so it can lead into the regular season, and then we can move shit forward. Because Graham's always been my biggest issue is Patrick Graham. So, like I say, outside of that, we'll just have to sit and wait and see what happens this upcoming week and in our game.
Yep, exactly. And of course, I just wanted to say thank you, MC Radio, for pulling out this show. We talked about the training camp, what he thought about it, and of course, thank you, Dustin, for the death.
Heck yeah, man.
Appreciate it. And of course, I will see you there for the next time. And it's been like another edition of Civil and Black Experience, a special episode with MC Raider and Dustin for the Death Star Report. So my name is Rafael Chassin, as known as El Capitán Rafucho. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the Death Star Report on YouTube, and make sure everybody else on Instagram, on Discord. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to MC Raider, not only on YouTube, but you can listen on Spotify. And Rafael Chassin as El Capitán Rafucho on YouTube. So I will see you there next time. And of course, football season. But right now, we're getting focused all about the Raiders. So Raider Nation for life, folks. And I will see you there next time. So peace out. Have a good one.
Peace.